From blueprints to bliss, let's get popping with another episode of Plantco Playbook. Today we are working on our western area. You've seen some of this in our previous videos. If you haven't, well, check those videos out where we build our restaurant and our little shop over there, our shop shell. But this here, the rusty spoon, is what we worked on last time. And today we start working on the entrance area for our western area of the park. You can see I've got a nice little pathway here leading to a bridge, and we're going to dress up all of this here, and we're working mostly on this side here, the left side, creating a entrance area with a nice waterfall and some rock work and plants and trees and different things. And you may have seen that little rise on the right side there. That's where we're going to put some shops. I think I may have mentioned that in the previous video. But here today, we're working on this right here. This area where we're going to put like a waterfall, some rock work, some plants and trees like I mentioned before, and just make it a really nice entrance for our western area. So, we get these rocks in here, and these, by the way, are colorable. As you can see on the right-hand side of the screen, the colors, you can pick slot 1 and slot 2. They come as a brighter red, kind of like in Plan Co 1 if you had that. If you had Planet Coaster 1, the rocks were super red. So I've toned that down a bit to give them a little bit more of a natural look and made them a little bit less bright red. So we've got these rocks working here to be in our western area, putting in some trees, and some of this will change a little bit later on as we get a little bit deeper into the build, but this is what we are doing right now. And so just adding a little hill over here for some texture and a little bit of depth in the scene. And of course, back behind the camera where we're not looking, if you were to turn around and look 180 degrees back the other way down the path, is where we're going to build other things. So here I'm adding some water. It looks a little weird because it's in super fast motion here. But this is just going to be kind of a waterfall that drops down from these rocks here, and then we'll add some things at the top a little bit later here to get the right look and make it look a little bit more natural. Now, everybody's, well, maybe not everybody, but some of you have probably seen Tagged, and he's built this new way of doing waterfalls, but that was before I recorded this video, so I didn't build the waterfall the way he would. You can always do that later if you'd like, if you are familiar with Tagged's channel, and you can put some water features in the way he did. But this looks pretty decent for what it is, and you'll get a better look at it later when we slow down the video, and then you'll get to take a look at it. But here, just adding some plants and bushes and things. I didn't really put too much in there right now just because I'm just starting to work on this area. But, you know, I did put in a little bit of stuff here just to kind of dress it up a little bit and give us a beginning, you know, a start to this area here for our western area of the park. So, watch this build for a moment. I'll be right back. Okay, so here we are building on the other side now, just adding some rock work here, getting this to look a little bit more of a western entrance. And again, that big flat area that you see up to the well, at the bottom of the screen now to the right of the screen where you see the stone guest statue, that's later going to be where I'm going to put some shops, and that'll give us a walkway across the bridge there. Kind of like a little side road there. You can see I have a temporary entrance back there with the bus. That's just to get some guests in the park and have a little bit of motion in the park right now while I build. But that will change later too, because that is not going to be the main entrance of the park once we get to a little deeper into the build of the park. And this is, yeah, so this is just the western area for now. And by the way, those shops I showed you at the beginning, the restaurant and I forgot the name of it, Wild Bill's or something like that. Trader Bill's shop. It's a shell right now. It doesn't have a shop in it, but you can download those on the workshop. If you follow the link in the description below, or not the link, use the share code in the description below, you can get those shops. I think I put both of them in the description, so you'll be able to get both of those shops and the shop and the restaurant, that is. Boy, I am just having a tough time with words today. But you'll be able to get both of those builds in the park along with other builds. You can kind of see way off in the distance in the background there a Main Street shop and some other things that I've built. Those are also available in the workshop, on the Frontier Workshop. So use the share code below. That'll take you over to the couple of builds that that I already have in there, and then from there you can just kind of look around and see what else I've built, and feel free to download those, use those, make them your own, changing them up, do whatever you want to do to make them fit your park and make your park look really cool. So that's, you know, kind of what I do. I help make people's parks look really cool. All right, so here's the pathway here. You can see I've got the water up there. You've got some plants and trees and stuff, the rock work on both sides. And in just a moment here, we'll take a little look at that once I get a few more things here in place, the little ferns and bushes and things here, dress it up a little bit. And then you will get a look at the overall entrance area here, right here. So it's starting to take shape. We have a nice western feel as we walk up, and we're going to improve those sight lines further down the path as you look straight ahead. So right now we're going to jump in over here by the bridge, and it looks a little plain. I left the supports off on purpose because what we're going to do is add some supports that we're going to create here ourselves. So we will look for what we need here, looking under wood as our search term. And I was looking through and trying to figure out what I wanted to use, and I went with, I believe, these logs down here somewhere. Not that one. Those were huge, and they would look kind of weird, I think, in that specific position. I know we can scale them, but they just want what I wanted. So I picked these right here. I chose these and shrunk them down. And scaling is awesome. I really like scaling in Planet Coaster 2. It makes all the difference in the world. And so got these into place here, and I will speed up the build here in a moment so you can watch that happen. And we will get this going. Okay, so we have those in place. We are going to skip over here real quick before I continue, because I did record somewhat out of order, but we're going to actually dress this up area. Wow, we're going to dress up this area a little bit. Well, I told you I was having trouble with my words today. So it looked a little plain to me, so I wanted to kind of dress it up and make it look really nice. So I thought maybe a nice little pond would go great here. So we're going to carve out a little area here for our pond. We'll put some trees and things in there. You can see I filled it, and I thought, nah, that doesn't look good yet. So I took the water out and made it just a little bit bigger, and then we're going to add some splashing water coming up over there so it looks like it's filling up the pond right here. So we got some water in there now, and I think that looks pretty good for a start. So it just gives kind of like a vista point, something to make the area look a little nicer as people are walking by up that ramp toward the restaurant and the shop that's currently up there. Even though there's nothing in the shop, but they can eat at the restaurant. So here I took some rocks, started getting those in place here to dress this up a little bit, make it look really, really nice, and sunk a few down underneath the water. And I think I lightened up the color on the ones that I put under the water just a little bit so they wouldn't stand out too much, just to kind of give it a rocky bottom, you know, make it look, you know, like those rocks were naturally there. So I may have lightened those up a little bit, but the ones around the edges, I made sure that those matched the rocks that lead into our western area And then of course these brushes really make a difference. You know, dress up the area a little bit with a little bit of texture and a little color by adding plants and grass and different things around. It just makes the whole area look a lot more natural, a lot more nice, rather than just leaving the plain grass there. So yes, here I did lighten up the rocks a little bit before putting them underwater so they wouldn't stand out too much. And that way they look a little more like they just naturally belong there, like they just happened to be there, and maybe some rain came and fell in and filled up the pond, and now we have a little pond there. So these rocks will kind of line the edges along the bottom here, and then it just kind of goes deeper into the water down below. So just to add a little more interest, a little more texture, a little more feeling that this is a natural little pond that just happens to live there in the entry area to our western part of the park. So we'll get these last few rocks in place and then add some bushes and some other little things here, reeds and different things, just to dress it up really nice. All right, here's where we will add some water effects, and that way it looks like the little spring that's coming out of those rocks is filling up our little pond. And look at that. Look at that vista. That is a really cool, just quiet little peaceful area. And later on, what I'll probably do is add some speakers in there and put the sound of like birds and things just to keep it looking nice. So here we are going right into finishing the bridge. I kind of, like I said, jump back and forth a little bit. And these little supports here just kind of give the bridge a little more character, a little more of an authentic feel rather than just these poles holding it up. These will just kind of make the bridge look a little more like it was purposely built and not just utilitarian. You know, it'll look a little more like something that belongs in a western area. So we'll get all of these in place, and then we'll continue from there. Okay, so there we are. We have our bridge in place, all our supports that is, and look at that. It looks pretty nice. It looks a lot better than it did before. So now we're going to do this. We're going to add some of these planks all the way along our bridge area here. And then we're going to use the new invisible paths that are part of Planet Coaster 2 to make the actual pathway disappear, and then it'll look like these planks are the actual bridge. So we'll get that all put into place and then add our own details to it, and we'll go from there. So as you can see, I've got everything in place now, and I'm just deleting the path here by using the invisible path tool so that our planks will now be the path and instead of the bridge that I made earlier. So it just looks like a natural bridge now instead of the the regular pathways. I really like having that invisible bridge tool or invisible path tool. I used it as an invisible bridge tool, the invisible path tool. I was going to use these as the handrails along the bridge that we made here, but didn't really like the way it looked, so went through a couple of different things here, and these were a little bit too long. Even if I scaled them down, they wouldn't have quite fit right. So I did get the smaller pieces and just put those in one by one. And you can kind of see those little logs that stick up along the sides of the bridge there. I'll get rid of those as well by deleting curbs. So those count as curbs on invisible pathways, and we'll delete those here in just a couple of minutes. All right, so here we go, deleting the curbs and working on making it look as good as possible. I know there's kind of a gap right there on one side of the bridge, and I'll fill that in with a plank somewhere at some point and just make it look a little bit better here. But as we finish up the bridge, getting these last few handrails in place, we're going to then take a look at our mine train coaster from a couple of really nice viewpoints, and you'll see what that looks like. Now, unfortunately, when I was filming the footage for the mine train coaster, at some point the footage got corrupted, so I don't have that train being built. But you're going to get to watch in future episodes where we build it up a little bit. Here we go. Look at that. Look at that view. So much better than it looked at the beginning of the video. Here's our mine train coaster. You can see that mountain back there needs a little work, but look at this view. Look at that view right there. Oh man. So this is a coaster. We're going to work on it in the future in another episode, and you'll get to see the effects go in, the lighting, some more scenery and different things. But this is just a little preview of our mine train coaster that I unfortunately lost the footage for. So until then, just keep an eye out. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Hit that bell notification so you see all of our upcoming videos. And remember, build bigger, build bolder, and may your dreams become your reality. We'll see you in the next episode of Plan Co Playbook.